Welcome to our Monday nights with Jen. The not creative title, but at least you'll never forget what night it's on. I wanted to go ahead and push record as I shared what oils that we're going to be working with. I personally just have frankincense, stress away, and lavender for tonight because those are some basics as far as emotion work goes. If you caught the AFT session we did in Healing Haven, then we were working with this, but I also encourage you guys to just grab some oils that we've talked about recently that maybe resonated with you. I keep saying tangerine. Maybe we all need tangerine right now. What were some of the other ones? My mind is drawing a blank. But in any case, one of the things that I have noticed with oils and doing emotions is that really and truly all oils heal emotions. I was watching a video taught by a woman who works with Dr. Perkis. He's the one that did AFT. And she was saying, oh, he did some research and some peer reviews and saw that, I don't know, this handful of oils really helped with emotions. And I was like, well, that's nothing new. I mean, my gosh, if you just look in our desk references, you can see literally every oil has an emotion component. So one of the things that I really enjoy doing is writing about emotions with the oils because, number one, I don't like to have to go buy an oil if I have a situation right now. It's not because I'm cheap or I don't want to spend the money. It's because I need instant gratification. I was an instant gratification person before Instagram and all of that became popular. It's just my nature. So that being said, I enjoy going, I have lemon, I have common sense, I got loyalty. What can I do with those? And I want to be able to do it now. I don't want to have to wait 2 to 3 weeks for it to come. So I want that for you guys. And I also, so there's that. The other side of it is sometimes we do emotion work and we use the tried and true release, inner child, whatever, present time, and we're just not getting to where we need to be. And so I want you to have something else that you can pull out of your arsenal to say, maybe this one is going to help me, because I got to be honest, there are times when frankincense is just not cutting it. And so here I am wanting to do something else. So all that to say is what we're working on with today, rather not on, is just, whatever you've got, but these are the ones I have. I'm sorry, I'm looking for my notes. I have about 1,000 Word docs open. Please give me a second. It was here a moment ago. I have a history of aprons here on my desktop. That's super helpful. Aha, my screen was covering it. You guys ever do that? Anyway, okay. I want to encourage you to take some notes. We've got a few things to share actually, I've got a lot of things to share. As many of you know, I follow the Hebrew calendar because I really enjoy how God sets up seasons and cycles in our lives to really walk us through. And a lot of this has to do with our emotions. I mean, our God is so kind that there's different seasons that are meant to heal our organs or certain parts of our body. Not that there's not grace to heal your liver in a month that isn't liver month, but there is an ideal, just a perfect time for that type of healing. Same thing goes with our emotions. And there's just seasons in life, I went to Hobby Lobby today with my youngest, and I get very confused at Hobby Lobby what season it is. It's a good thing I don't follow the Hobby Lobby calendar, because I would be like, I don't know, is it Thanksgiving? Is it Halloween? Is it Christmas? It's literally everything here. So it's like that. You go to certain stores and you know what holidays people are celebrating based on the material that's being sold. In this time, this new Hebrew month, it's called Heshvan. I used to speak German fluently, and it's very close to Hebrew. So all those throat things sound great. Okay, Wendy. But that's the month we're in. And what we find in this month, and this is so beautiful because it goes perfectly along with this, what I'm sharing with you all in the next 3 weeks. And that is this: letting go of the old and making space for the new. I came across a scripture. It's an old one that God has put in my face so many times, but it's in Isaiah. If you read the scriptures, I want to encourage you with this. And it says, do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of the past. Here I am, I'm doing a new thing. This is God talking. And so if you're somebody who loves to study scriptures or even just feel encouraged by the words, please let those sink into your soul and let your spirit hear these words. I teach about emotional health all the time. I mean, I would do it in my sleep probably. And one of the things that I find that keeps us stuck in a lower or a negative emotional state sometimes is we keep recalling the former things. And I was thinking about this in this last week, and I really believe that this is what God would want for this group especially, is that we have to start letting go of the old. Guys, we have to be doing this. Yeah, guilty as charged. Sister Lisa, just side note, when I was getting ready for this, I thought, this is so embarrassing. So much of the stuff I teach you guys is really things that I'm walking through. And y'all just get to come along for the ride and see what sticks, what, I mean, right, Deb? You're like, wow, almost like you guys should just have popcorn watching me just out myself constantly. So yay, have fun with that. But I find in emotional health, you guys, a lot of times we think about the past and what happened, and it was so hard and so painful. And I do not mean, you know me. And if you don't know me, hear my heart. You know that I am not saying you just need to forget it all. And you just need to just let it go. We're all going through things and it still applies. Yeah, for sure, Deb. Absolutely. I know sometimes we walk through some really difficult things, for sure. And I'm not minimizing any of that. And yet what I do know is there's a season that the Lord highlights things in our lives, whether you know him or not. It's really his grace to call people to himself who don't know him as well, and just say, hey, this is the time to move forward. But you cannot move forward if there's stuff hanging you in the back, right behind us. And also in this season, it's a, hold on, excuse me. Ooh, got caught up there with some dust. It's a season to transition, right? So we're letting go of the past and we're embracing the new. We're forgetting the former things. We're not calling those things to mind anymore. So we're transitioning into something new, and we're resting while we're doing it. I just moved before we hit record. Lisa was like, oh, your new place. Yes, this is my new office. And that was an incredible transition. We're so thrilled to finally be in our own home. We were staying with friends for the last year. It was so great that we had that opportunity. And now we're so ready to embrace new and find a new normal without my husband. And in that transition, can I share with you that moving is rarely restful? If you've ever moved, you know that it's a little tricky to rest. I logged 4 miles on my watch in one day in my house, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, doing stuff, moving and doing all these boxes. And yet in an emotional situation, what we find ourselves in this season is we're to be transitioning into our new space, right? We're letting go of the past, and we're doing this from a place of rest. This is such a cool season, you guys, because as we start to walk in, I say this every season, as we start to walk into the next phase of our lives, our new identity, releasing our old identity. Some of us, I'm talking to me, looking at myself right here in the Zoom camera. Some of us identified with an old season of our lives. And our identity is so attacked right now in our world. And it's so important for us to step into the identity that we were created to have, created to be, and release what isn't a part of us anymore. For the next 3 weeks, we're going to be discussing a little bit of the emotion reset if you followed with us in the last week, and then transitioning into our next season, all from a place of rest. Remember, was it Tuesday, maybe Monday? I asked you, what was your one miracle? If you could have one thing that occurred tonight, that day, whatever, and everything in your life would be better, what would that be? What would make your life flow better? And about 6 to 8 months ago, if you'd asked me that question, I'd be like, if I could just get into a new home with my kids, so we could start normal. And now that we're here, I mean, yes, that is a huge miracle for us. And it also comes with a whole new set of lovely challenges, and not challenges in a bad way, just really good things to learn, things to do. It comes with a whole nother set of obstacles and blessings. Sometimes we have to heal from one area so that we can embrace the new, and those things that are going to be those challenges, those stepping stones. This is a season to release that. The other thing we're going to be walking through in the next few weeks is creating a peace soup. Some of you might enjoy pea soup, which I do. Sometimes I like it with the ham and then take that little bone out. I just love that flavor. This is peace soup. So in your journal, actually take your oil. Let's do this. Let's take some oils now. Let's just prepare ourselves so that we can start thinking peacefully. I'm taking my lavender and stress away. Let's do just a minute of some breath work, settle ourselves down so that we can be ready for that. And when you're thinking and breathing your oils, think about all the things in the last, let's say, 30 days that may have created some havoc in your emotions. And then just let the oils wash over that. Little annoyances, just let them wash away. Look, my Roman, just right on cue, breathe with us. So I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions, and you can share your answer in the chat. I would encourage you to write them, though, in your journal on a piece of paper, something, so that you can have it in your mind and go back and revisit it later. Just 2 questions. When I say peace soup, what comes to mind if I say, how can you create that in your life this month? How can you create? What ingredients do you need to create that? And then how can you do that when things around you are not filling your pot with things of peace? So as you start to look at those questions and maybe have some answers, your answers may change in the next 20 minutes. Maybe they won't. Maybe you guys are on the right trajectory and on the right track, and that would be amazing. And I hope that you're turning around and sharing with somebody else how to create a peace soup. It's, I love making soup, especially now it's fall-ish here in Texas, and I have people that help me in the house, and sometimes they want to put things in the soup. I'm like, that does not go. Or yes, that would be really good. So be thinking of that, because I want to start making this emotional healing fun and just adding ingredients, taking things out that don't serve you. In emotional healing and reset, etc., most of us are just looking for a peaceful life. Really, at the crux of it all, Many women come to me because they have this storm, right, that's raging on the inside. And so they've tried everything on the outside to make it feel better, right? We see either people are either really messy or really tidy, or, we do a little bit of controlling or we do a lot of letting go. But I think what most people are looking for is just peace. In these days, in our times, most are looking for peace and love. That seems to be the desire of most people. I see on social media, love your neighbor, looking for peace. There's just a lot of that going on. We desire peace in this way. When I say we, I mean humanity, maybe not present company, but humanity in general. We want it in our world. We want peace in our nation. In the United States right now, if you're not living in the United States, you're watching this from somewhere else. Right now, we're about to be in an election time. Early voting started today where I'm at. And so a lot of people are looking for peace in our nation. And then that will calm this. Then I can feel whatever. We're looking for it in our cities, in our communities, in our neighborhoods, and then in our homes. And then finally, we have it within ourselves. And I find, especially as I use essential oils and we share them, we'll use peace and calming, or we'll use stress away, and okay, we breathe it in and now everything is good. And we think that that is going to solve the problem. And it does help. We can't leave it just in healing our oils. We run down that list, again, humanity or communities, and I might say, I'll feel peace when the world, when the nation, when the city, when our communities, neighborhood, our home, and our families are at peace. The problem with that is we run the risk of having incredible disappointment. Because you might be feeling peaceful because everything else is good, right? In my situation, like my boxes are unpacked, things are starting to get hung. Okay, I'm all set. And we know, again, if we are students of the scriptures, we know, and as things progress, the world will not be getting more peaceful. In the last 2.5 years, I double dog dare you to show me where things have gotten more peaceful. It's a little wild right now. Things that happened to us yesterday, last week, or last year, or decades ago, we're told, as I just shared with you, that we're not to call these to mind. We're not to let them take up space in our brain. Pondering, ruminating on these things is not going to bring us peace. It's not going to heal us emotionally. God always has something good and amazing and incredible for us. And I believe that we are missing it if we still hang on to that. It's not part of our peace soup. So let's look at some common emotions that hinder us from creating that soup. I believe this is the world according to Jen Weir, but that if we look at certain emotions and we assess, okay, why do I have this? It becomes so much easier to create a practice then to release those emotions so that we can not call former things to mind. We can stop feeling or experiencing these feelings, and then we can look forward to the future with joy and anticipation. So there's 3 emotions, and we've discussed these in the past, and I believe that let's take a little bit more time today and dive in and just really assess where these come from and how to release them. The first one is bitterness. Bitterness, if you experience this emotion, it shows where you need to heal. Many times it shows where you need to heal in your physical body, right? We've talked about this before, that it can land in your bones. It can get into your bloodstream. But bitterness also shows where you might still be holding judgments towards yourself and towards someone else. If you sit for a minute, and I hope in these next few weeks, you all get really good at introspection. Because sometimes we find things are annoying us, or we're feeling a little like picked at and sort of off. And we really don't know why. And we just slap on an oil, or just like, oh, I'm just having a rough day. Get quiet. Ask yourself, and yourself will answer you. Why am I feeling off? What is the emotion here? Once you can get it, you can then assess it, address it, use your oil, breathe it in, journal, and we'll put in whatever practice that is right for you. And then you can move forward. If you just ignore it, even those teeny tiny little things, I promise you, those teeny tiny little things build up to big things. Bitterness is one that many times, honestly, I see some, and even in myself, that maybe we are holding on to judgments over somebody else. You feel bitter towards them, but a lot of times it's you just hold up a mirror. It's towards yourself. It can kind of lean into that regret feeling. A good practice for this would be using an oil like acceptance, release, present time, all of the above. And just say out loud, whatever it is, it's in the past. It's in the past, and I unhook myself from this judgment. I unhook this person from my own judgment. There's no good fruit that comes from clinging tightly to these judgments, whether over somebody else or over yourself. We are not God. We should not play him. You might even speak out, I release bitterness and I receive joy. I receive love. I receive healing in my bones. Start creating affirmations that bring in those words. It's interesting. I study a lot of different languages. I love words. And I recently learned that the word gift, like if I gave you a gift, you all would be super excited, right? Like who doesn't want a gift? Doesn't matter what it is. I thought of you. It's like, I'm going to have a gift. Yay! The word gift to us in English means a present, something that we really want. Same sound, same word, gift in German means poison. So if I say that in German, nobody wants that kind of gift. So really, when we think about our words, I share that with you because some words, when it comes to the word bitterness or the opposite of it, we need to release those words from our body. And we need to start speaking words with intention that creates healing. Resentment. This is the second emotion. If resentment is an emotion that you experience, it shows that there's still some living in the past that's being done and not allowing the present to fully come to fruition. Most of you, I assume for those of you who have walked with me in emotional healing for quite some time, resentment, I imagine it wouldn't be part of you, especially if you use the oil present time. It's just that with the neroli in there, that oil is stunning. But it really does help release that past, just wanting to step into the future, wanting to really be present where you are and look forward to the future. But similar to bitterness, this has a little bit of a taste of anger, right? If resentment is something that you have, or it's kind of a part of you, look and see if there's not some anger there that's creating that. And in that case, a good practice would be to breathe in your oils, really breathing out the bitterness, the resentment. Breathing in whatever oil you choose, whether it's present time into the future. You might even choose frankincense, stress away, and lavender, the memory release, because there might be something that you're thinking of that is keeping that resentment staying with you. But you breathe that in, let those molecules wash over that space in your body where you're feeling it. And then when you exhale it out with intention, blow it all out. All that resentment. The third emotion that I want to share with you, that I want to discuss, is anger. Now, this is interesting, and I want to just camp here for a minute, because anger, it shows what you're passionate about. It shows where your boundaries are and what you believe needs to change to heal the world, to heal your family, to heal, to be a chain breaker, to be the one in your generation that creates a difference. So anger can be harnessed into something more fruitful. So if you feel angry, now if your anger is towards somebody else, right? If they've wronged you, obviously there we have forgiveness, that we need to do that. We work with things that help us forgive, that cause us to feel forgiving, to unhook them from our judgment and all of that. But that anger really harnessed can create something fruitful, like praying over a situation rather than being angry about it. Every once in a while, I bring what I see on social media to our group here, and I won't share with you what I saw in the last few days, but it was quite alarming. I shared with my children. They're like, "Mom, why are you telling us this?" I said, "Because it's in my head, and I have to bring in someone into my mental mess here." And they're just like, I also like to just rock their little world so they don't get stuck in their little 21-year-old, 19-year-old bubble. That's like, come on, guys, there's a big world out there. But some things that I realize we share on social media, it's anger inducing. And folks are sharing it because they're angry. And yet I'm going to tell you, no one else will tell you because they're not your real friends. But if that's you, if you share things on social media that, or you have people that do that, maybe unfollow them, hide their posts or whatever. Because sometimes we share information and it's just spouting off whatever. It's just creating more anger, and there's no fruit that comes from it, nothing good anyway. Unless you're sharing, hey, this is going on and this is what we can do about it. Be aware that what we share might be producing anger in someone else, and then they're left with an I don't know what to do about it now. Just some food for thought. So if any of those resonated with you at all, it's time to put a practice into place. We have the aroma reset. We've talked about that in the past. This is a quick 60-second. You see a situation, you're feeling an emotion, you've gone introspective and you've realized this, I feel this way right now, and I don't want to feel this. This is not my desire for the day. And so you choose your oil, you breathe it in, and you decide what emotion you want now, and you reset. It's quick. It literally takes 60 seconds. Can you imagine 60 seconds to feeling emotionally better? There's journaling to do, a daily practice of journaling. I know for those of you in this class or, that hang out with me on Monday nights, you guys probably all by now journal. But doing it with great intention, right? And just talking about your day. But this will help when you're having moments later. You can come back to it. You can breathe in your oils, and if you have something that comes up, breathe in your oils, do your reset, start journaling, and before you know it, you're feeling that much better. I love that, Lisa. You journal some, at least when you need to get something off your mind. Perfect. That's ideal. Personally, I like to journal the other stuff, but if you're only doing, just because I love to write, that's just my jam. But if you're only doing it to get things off your mind, my gosh, I cannot think of a better reason. That's amazing. The third practice you can do is oiling up as needed, number one, and then as a preventative. Have you guys ever not oiled up for a day? Anybody? And I mean, just curious, like, how's your day, Lisa, right? I mean, it's right, Deb. I mean, it's weird because if you don't use essential oils on a regular basis, you may not know, or you might think people who use them all, it's like, that's weird. Really, an oil? Yeah, for real. It really, when I've done it, when I've gotten busy and, you know, and I love oils. And when I've gotten busy and I don't really put them on as often, like in the morning, I don't have a good practice going, you know, I feel like as if you know, when you need some more water, when you're not drinking enough water and you start like, gosh, what's wrong? I feel tired, or just my skin doesn't look right. You don't usually make it through the whole day because as soon as you realize something's off, you grab your oils. Yeah, legit. I mean, it's so true. It's been a long time since I haven't at least put some on like this or just sat and rubbed my neck with them. But I know when I don't, it's like not drinking water, you know, and we really need the oils because all the time they're resetting our DNA. They're causing our minds to be clear. They're constantly rewriting those neural pathways. They're constantly releasing emotions. It's probably why you guys are doing so well, because you're using your oils, you're journaling as much as you can think to, and your body it's releasing trapped emotions, whether you're doing it with intention or not. One practice that I've done over the last year since my husband's passed is I use a lot of oils at night with great intention. So like I always have Inner Harmony here. I'll put Inner Harmony on. I use Journey on. I use some cedarwood actually on my scalp. And then I breathe it in. I do a lot of valerian because I love it now. It does not smell off-putting to me, which is weird, but lovely. It's one of those things I'm like, it's probably good Mark's not here because poor guy. I put on, I'm like, I'm sorry. He never liked it, but I really love it. But just doing it at night, because just like your organs are detoxing and processing at night, that's how your brain does at night too. You're working out your day in your dreams. It's an easy emotional release and reset to do it at night. Journaling at night, if you have the energy to do so, 5-10 minutes, get it all out, put your oils on, go to sleep like a baby. All right, and the last thing is curating your environment. Curating your environmental input. This one is huge. This is so huge, especially now. If you are in a transition time, a time where you are throwing off the old and you're saying, you know, God, I'm ready for the new. What's the new? P.S. I'll totally show you. Super excited to do so. And if that's you and you're ready to transition into that, with all from the place of rest, looking at your environmental input is paramount to success in that. The music, we've talked about this before, the music you listen to. Even taking a week of, done this where you do like a music fast and you only have high frequency music. Things that are creating that more uplifting feeling. You can feel it in your bones, right? I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, maybe our last time together. But you just feel that music that is just, it's what feelings sound like. Turning off any kind of media input, whether it's, you know, TV or social media. Sometimes I have a practice of trolling through Pinterest because I love recipes and things like that, but that isn't always, it's sort of a neutral. It doesn't give me a lot of life. It's just fun. So rather do that, I might like to draw instead, take that time and just do something more life-giving. Curating your environmental input can also look like taking a walk through some space of beauty. It doesn't have to be a power walk, but driving to a place that is beautiful, that has beautiful sounds. And the last tidbit on environmental input is diffusing your oils in every space that you'll be walking in that day. If you don't have an obsession with diffusers like I do, I mean, God love you. Well done. You guys, I have to out myself, just a timeout on the class for just a moment. Apparently in the last year, 14 months of not having my own house, I've been collecting diffusers as they've been on sale or as they have launched new ones. Okay, I'm not alone. Is there a club that we can join for this? Right here in this cabinet, I have 6 unopened diffusers. I feel a little embarrassed here. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 diffusers in this like space right here. And then we have 2 in the kitchen. 1, I mean, it's really alarming. So if you are not like that, if you are normal and just have like 1 or 2 in your home, if you open the closet behind me, oh my, right? It's like, don't do that. We'll do that like on a one-on-one, Lisa, and we can encourage each other. I did not, by the way, I did not buy the new one because I thought, no, talk about restraint. No, I can't. No, I would be like, no, no. Anyhow, if you have just 1 or 2, one of the things that I did before I had this tender loving obsession with diffusers is I would get a little jar with some cotton balls. Okay, I'm sorry. I just saw Lisa, since she wrote it, I'm going to out her. And you guys watching later, this is hilarious. She has 16 diffusers in a 1475 square foot home, including your garage. Lovely. That's fantastic. Okay, I have one in my laundry room, which I've never done that before, but there we are, because I've never actually had a long room. It's usually just like a space, but send help, everyone. And you ordered more. See, when they did that case, I was like, oh, heck no. No, I'm no sucker. I'm not buying a case of diffusers. And I couldn't even look at my phone to see all the ads. Anyhow, okay. One of the things that you can do if you do not have 16 diffusers in a 14 square foot home, 1400, take a little jar with some cotton balls and drip some oil on there. Have it be at your desk just to get the oils in you. I did, my children called it the poor man's car diffuser before car diffusers became a thing, because I didn't know what else to do. I saw this on Pinterest. It was a clothespin. This is like 10 years ago. Let me see, turned it to the side. Yep. Okay. It was like that, but see, mine wasn't decorated. It was literally a clothespin with a piece of cotton in it, and I stuck it in my air vent. But look at Lisa's is so much cuter. Yeah, you have 3 in your closet, Sarah. Like, for real, we all need help. I'm telling you. But you can make your own, and these little creative ways to get diffusing going. Really, diffusing is just getting the molecules out of the bottle and into the air. And tonight it might sound silly that I'm going on and on about diffusing, but you guys, it is so important, because number one, the diffusing, the having it out of the bottle, the pads are great tip. Thank you. Getting it out of the bottle breaks up the molecules and it gets more into the space you're in. It's creating environmental input. And when you take the time to put oils in your diffuser, create a little DIY diffuser or a little felt pad, you are with intention thinking, what do I want to be smelling throughout the day? With intention, you're choosing your emotional health. With great intention, you're curating your environmental input. Years ago, when we first lived in Massachusetts, the home was the biggest home I had lived in. They had all these little rooms. I think that's where I got all these diffusers. Seriously, it was a 5,000 square foot home. Plus we had a little apartment that was like our retreat center. So I had to have a lot of diffusers. But I went through each room and I thought, what do I want to feel when I walk into this room? When I went in my kitchen, I did lemon and peppermint or lemon and rosemary. I wanted to feel awake and sunshiny and happy. When I went in my family room, I had more lavender and cedarwood, just more of a relaxing time. Right. And in the dry room, which was like a sunroom, I had citronella in there because I want to keep bugs out. So if you do that in your space and you're curating an environmental input, asking yourself, what do I want to feel when I step into this room? Or what do I want to create? What kind of feeling do I want to create in my person everywhere I walk, in my home or in your office, in your car? If you're somebody who has to commute, I mean, obviously you want to have a more peaceful time. These are some practices to put in place. Choose what you think, what works for you, release, let go of what doesn't. But most of all, in this time, yeah, we do have a great car diffuser. In this time, in these next few weeks, consider what is the next season in your life? What does it look like? I know you all are transitioning. You just can't help but transition. It's what this season is all about. It might be small. It could be something simple as you're going from wearing short sleeves to long sleeves. That's a transition. Heat, or going from AC to heat. Believe me, my face is feeling it because it went from being moist in the summer to now crispy dry. I'm like, can I tell you how thrilled I am about our intensive moisturizer? Lovely. Do y'all have any questions before I stop the recording? Okay, the next week we'll be here, same time. It is Halloween. That means absolutely nothing to me, except for I'll be playing worship music all day in my home and with the windows open. So I'm hoping and praying that we'll be able to do this with minimal doorbell ringing, dog barking. We'll see. We'll see. It might be a constant me muting us or just have a lot of noise in the background. Either way, but we'll be here next week at the same time.